my beautiful friends. I wanted to come on and do a love reading. This is going to be a divine counterpart reading. So we're going to be looking at a twin flame dynamic. This won't resonate with everyone because not everyone is on the twin flame journey. And the twin flame journey is a very complicated journey, and it's about you. Last night I was listening to Bree, beautiful Bree, and when she got to the end of her first deck, she realized that it was a divine feminine that she was channeling, and she spoke about the divine feminine journey. Her channel is The Naked Moon here on YouTube, and I was just, the way she spoke about it, you should really check out that video because just the way she explained the journey of the divine feminine, it might be something that you resonate with. It might bring you some clarity, might bring you some peace to know that you're not alone. Anyway, so yesterday I was also talking up this deck by Divine Moon Empress, and I mentioned that I got some of her other decks, and two of them came. So we're going to use them today. The first one is the Journey to the Divine Feminine, and then we have the Journey to the Divine Masculine. So we're going to use these decks, and I'm going to do a you and them, starting with you. I hope you guys are having a good day. It's very warm here, so if I'm already like, maybe you're phoenixing, I'm getting a little bit of phoenix energy, but it's also very warm here. I wanted to say something else. I spent the morning out with two of my kids, and if you have kids in your life, right, spending time with kids, they have such beautiful energy, and I really enjoyed myself. But anyway, I ended up getting myself something when we were out shopping, and it made me think of a while ago I talked about this, that maybe you need to do something nice for your inner child, especially like the divine feminine journey. It's a lot about healing that little wounded inner child within you and showing up for them the way that maybe your parents couldn't show up for you. Anyway, usually I'm drawn to, like, I have specific animals that I like, including black and white ones, but I was just so drawn to this little thing. Anyway, I want to share it with you. It's a piggy, and it made me so happy. Isn't he cute? Do you guys remember Webkins? Maybe you're not old enough, or maybe you're older than Webkins. I took care of kids when Webkins were around. That's why I know about them. But anyway, Webkins are back, but I don't even care about the Webkins part of it. But look at this little pig. And when I was younger, I had a pink pig. I'm gonna have to show it to you now. And I used to rub, it had silk ears and feet, and I used to rub it whenever I was going through things at home. Trauma. Anyway, so I just saw this, and the ears reminded me of my little piggy. I don't have my pig anymore, but one of the things on my healing journey, healing the inner child, was this was 2 years ago, but I heard do something nice for your inner child, and I always miss that little pig. So I actually went on eBay and found that pig and gifted my inner child something. And there's something that I believe in, that when you do something nice for your inner child, Spirit will send you a blessing. Will send you, adult self you, a blessing. Maybe you're someone who's always thinking of others, right? Maybe you're someone who's, whenever you go out, you see things that remind you of other people, or you pick up things for other people and never for yourself. You should do something for your inner child and see what happens. Something that happened to me was after I bought that pig, a friend came into my life. So Spirit sent me a spirit friend, or not a spirit friend, a spiritual friend. I was making it sound like they aren't from this world or something. Hang on. I knocked the angle of the camera. Anyway, so this is, do you hear the crows? The crows were waiting for me when I got home, so I just fed them. That's why you hear them. But this was the little piggy, not the exact one, but that I had when I was little, and I called him Pinky. So anyway, he's seen better days. He's seen better days. But when I saw this little piggy, he reminded me of Pinky, so I got him. Another thing I want to mention, is keep in mind, I'm somebody who posts readings every day. It doesn't mean that every reading is for you, but if you're on the healing journey, if you're on the divine feminine journey, there could be messages in them for you, which is probably why you watch them. Just because I'm posting every day doesn't mean that, we channel many different collectives. And I think that a lot of the divine feminines that watch me understand that. They have the discernment to understand which reading is theirs and which isn't. That's my mission, right? That's why I do a reading every day. It's part of my mission. And divine feminines have a mission. We're meant to help raise the vibration of the world. One of the most, I don't know why I'm talking about this, but there's a reason. One of the most rewarding things that has happened to me on this journey is to align with other divine feminines. So when I started this journey, I felt very alone. And I can remember my best friend, who's no longer in my life, sadly, said to me that they didn't believe in any of that stuff. They didn't want to hear it. They were sick of hearing about it. And if I was going to be around them, I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't be myself around them. And, you can understand why that person isn't in my life anymore. I held on to them for a while, but every time I was with them, I had to hide who I truly was. Like, that's not a friendship. And it's strange. I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but summer solstice has been super powerful for me each year on my journey. Like, specifically the exact date, June 21st. That's when I started my channel. A year later, that's when I met Michelle, my first spiritual friend. A year later is when I met, I don't know if he wants me to share his name, so I'm not going to. Divine feminine in a masculine vessel. Hey, bestie. And then this year I connected with Bree around summer solstice. And I want you guys to feel included in that, right? When you're here watching these readings, like, you're my people as well. And I love to see divine feminines coming together. I'm getting chills. Seriously, goosebumps. I love to see divine feminines coming together, because it is a lonely journey. It's a hard journey. And to have people around you that understand is priceless. And I find that every time I align with one of you, right? Every time I've had one of these friendships come into my life, you attract people that are in the same energy as you. And then once you attract each other, because you're vibing at the same frequency, you actually help each other ascend even more. You are the wind beneath my wings. So each time one of these soul family, soul tribe have come into my life, I've ascended even further. And they're really teaching me the value of true friendship. And it's beautiful. So if you feel alone, right, start setting intentions and shining your light and sharing your voice so that you can find your people, because that's how we find each other, right? We can't find each other if we're in our little hermit holes hiding. And it can be scary to put yourself out there. But even just, it's really important to have support on this journey. And that's why I show up here every single day. I couldn't wait to come do a reading with you guys today. Like, I'm usually someone who has to, when I come back from being out, because I read energy, I have to decompress and charge my battery, right? But I couldn't wait to come do this reading with you guys and hang out with you. We're magical beings, and that's not about feeling like we're better than anyone else, because that's not what the divine feminine journey is about. It's about the journey back to yourself. It's about acceptance. It's about your mission. It's about healing everything that has kept you stuck in this life, healing karmic cycles that you've brought into this life, a lot of it like family, generational cycles, so that it doesn't continue. Anyway, and an important part of the journey is surrender and acceptance of that, and not feeling like, why me? Why is this happening to me? It doesn't seem fair. I often say this journey is one of the hardest things I've ever been through, but I wouldn't change any of it because of where it's brought me and who it's aligned me with and how my life has changed. I spent so much of my life like sitting, hiding, watching trauma, being traumatized, right? Being wounded, feeling alone, feeling like I didn't belong anywhere, hating myself, not loving myself, looking for love outside of me. And this journey really takes you home to self. It's beautiful. I feel very blessed to be on this journey. I feel blessed that you're here with me. And I just love all of you. And I also wanted to say a shout out to my 3 spiritual friends that I've aligned with, because they're all very important to me. So if you have any friends in your life or that don't understand you or that you can't be yourself with, just know they could be taking up space of somebody really beautiful and amazing. And that's what you deserve in your life. You deserve somebody beautiful and amazing who sees your sparkle and who encourages you and who you vibe with, right? I just have goosebumpies. I have goosebumps, right? Anyway. So, Divine Feminine. We're going to start with you, of course. The Divine Feminine leads the way. All right, so we're going to start with you. I hear my crows. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. So when I was driving home from the mall with my kids, the 2 kids that I was with, I have 4 kids, but the 2 kids that I was with have they're a lot like me. So they believe in magic and their brains work a little differently. They see the world a little differently. And we were almost home, and often when I'm driving them, we listen to music really loudly and sing at the top of our lungs, right? It's very therapeutic. You should try it if you don't already. And we were almost home and we thought, let's put on one song that we can all agree with. And I said, I know what song we should put on. We should put on the Fish song. And my daughter was like, yeah, I was just thinking about that song. That's a song that I was going to recommend. And I want you to go listen to it. And, you know, I'm thinking of all my divine feminines, right? It's called If I Were a Fish. And I believe it was written by 2 friends where one of them was having a bad day because they were receiving a lot of internet hate. So it mentions that, like, why is everybody on the internet so mean? Why is everybody so afraid of what they've never seen? And it talks about how lucky are we to be fish in the sea, free to be you, I'm free to be me. I just got chills. And when I was singing that at the top of my lungs in my car, van, whatever, I thought of all of you. It's about you and learning how to love you. Anyway, it makes me emotional. Hang on. All right. But yeah, I collect little stuffed animals, as you can see up there. See them all? See them all? They're my friends. All right, so Divine Feminine. Let's see what's going on with you. My beautiful Divine Feminine, I hope this comes out for you. Receptive, open to receive, understand, and respond to spiritual truths and divine guidance. And that's the thing. A lot of us spend the first part of our journey overthinking it, denying it, chasing it, questioning it, feeling stuck, feeling like, why me, right? Oh, I know what I was going to say. The pig, I looked up the spiritual symbolism for a pig. It does talk about stability. It talks about fertility. It also talks about knowing that all of your hard work will be rewarded. And you're the reward. When you connect inner union, that's the reward. That's your cake. My two piggies look like they're hugging and it's just so cute. They're leaning against each other. All right, so let's see what's going on for you. 222, as I was saying that. Whoa, they all wanted to come out. I have a little tear. I hope you're not feeling hopeless. I hope you're not feeling hopeless. One more. They're newer, so I wanted to give them a really good shuffle. I always shuffle them a lot anyway. I've been preparing for this journey since I was very young. Like I've often said, I used to sit around with playing cards, shuffling them. Like I wanted to know how to do the bridge, right? That thing that I do from a very young age. This came out. I hope this doesn't come out. Anger, feeling hurt over the situation with the divine masculine. And that happens, right? All feelings are valid. You do go through moments where you're angry at them, right? Or angry at external factors, right? Bree was mentioning that when we're pointing the finger at everybody else, blame, 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 label, 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 label. And that's why I spend so much time describing what these wounds are, how we act from them. And just because they have different wounds than us does not make them the villain, right? And I talk about the example of online anxious attachment. I have yet to see anxious attachment villainized, but I see avoidant and they're just narcissist and this and that. I see that everywhere, villainizing, right? And that's what we need less of in this world. And if you truly are a divine feminine, I'm repeating some of what Bree said because like listening to her, I knew the energy that she was in, like her passion was just coming out because she was like clearly open source, like open to source, and the messages were just flowing through her. That happens to me. So I am going to repeat some of what she says, but divine feminines are meant to break through that programming, that conditioning, right? They're meant to see the world differently and see love differently. And again, it doesn't mean putting up with bad behavior or excusing bad behavior or anything like that, but it's about, like she says, loving all walks of life, even the wounded ones, right? Anyway, so I understand this energy. And at times you need to embody this energy to break free from those chains in Phoenix. But to live in anger and resentment for the rest of your life, that'll just keep you stuck. That'll keep you down and from living your life. Think about it, right? Like this card, she's angry, right? But the other card we saw, surrender, open to receive. All right. Did I already cut the deck? I can't remember. Intimacy, physical, emotional, more than just sex, okay? And we have telepathy, so maybe right now you are feeling intimacy telepathically. You could be picking up on their energy. But this is more than just, soul connection, right? It's more than just... I never know what YouTube doesn't like me to say. Confused. Wait, what? Interesting. Able to hear each other's thoughts, able to sense each other's feelings and moods. So right now you could be picking up on anger that's not even yours, right? Because you pick up on their energy. So yeah, sometimes you pick up on their energy. So you could be going about your day and then all of a sudden feelings come over you and you're not quite sure where they came from. I trust my decision to let go and move forward. Froggy in my throat, releasing, cleansing, healing. All right. And it is confusing when you're picking up on somebody else's energy. Confusing journey until you break through that veil, until you start seeing it clearly and seeing yourself clearly and the lessons clearly. All right. Your energy. Scarred. Yeah. Pictures. You could be looking at pictures. Worried about the past repeating itself due to the pain of past relationships. Scarred. So you could definitely be feeling wounded, like you have some battle scars from this connection, fear of repeating the same mistakes. Do you know what's interesting? I'm seeing the card, it's in a channeled message deck that I have. It's called Fragmentation. Not Fragmentation of the Soul in Love Pop, but the other one. And it says, until we can, it's a twin flame deck, until we make our shadows conscious, right? We will continue to hurt others. I can't remember what I was listening to last night, but they were saying that 95% of the time, people are acting from an unconscious place, right? And that's what this journey teaches us, is how to act from a conscious place. No longer living from the self-conscious or unconscious. Why did I say self-conscious? No longer living from the unconscious wounds. So what are you worried about? Are you worried about yourself repeating patterns, right? This is like, if you're feeling this is a little clue that you're meant to follow, right? So you're worried about the past repeating itself. What are you worried about repeating? What are you? Forget about them for a minute. What are you worried about repeating? Overgiving? Chasing? Those are the things you gotta heal. Those are the things you gotta look at. And the thing is I was talking about this in a personal reading the other day, but I'm gonna mention it here. Trust. So when we have a hard time trusting people because of what we've been through, it can be very hard to let people in and to trust them. And what I've learned is that a lot of the times when we were hurt by someone, it's because at the time, and I'm not trying to offend anyone when I'm saying this, anyway, I'm not going to worry about it. In my experience, in the past, when I've been hurt by someone and then I feel like I can't trust them, it's because it's someone who repeatedly hurt me and I continued to let them hurt me. And sometimes when we have a hard time trusting, it's showing us that we don't trust ourselves, because right now I trust myself. I know that if I'm in an unhealthy situation, empowered empath, I will be able to put up boundaries. I trust myself that if I see the signs, the red flags within somebody else, within me, I'll trust myself enough to put up boundaries or make different choices. And actually, Bree talked about this, that once you are healing and you're starting to trust yourself again, when you find people who are aligned with you, that you learn you can trust, it starts healing that trust wound. But for me, trust starts within, right? So as long as you know what you don't want to repeat, as long as you trust yourself to keep yourself safe in case you ever see those warning signs again, or you know what I mean, you're going to be okay. So if you're worried about them repeating cycles, trust yourself to know that you can see the cycle, the pattern, and you're not going to repeat it. Does that make sense? Sirens, protection, Archangel Michael. All right. Let's get a few more. Divine masculine on the bottom. Maybe you're working on divine masculine energy, right? Because we're always like, you got to work on divine feminine energy. You got to do this. You got to do that. But it's about a balance. I'm wearing black and white for my divine counterparts. But it's about a balance of both of those energies. So it's also about working on your divine masculine side. Assertive. Standing up. See, this is what I'm talking about. Empowered empath. So you are learning. It's so funny that I just talked about this. It's funny because I just said I'm worried about explaining myself and I said, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to say it. But assertive, standing up for yourself in a calm and positive way, able to get your point across without upsetting yourself or others, finding your voice, healing your throat chakra, right? A lot of us have blocked throat chakras, which contribute to fear of expressing your voice, fear of asking to have your needs met, fear of boundaries. On the other side, it can affect people differently, the blocked throat chakra. This is good. I like this. So I was talking about acting from a conscious place, right? You know what? Divine masculine energy, true divine masculine energy knows how to get their point across in an assertive, healthy, non-aggressive way. So maybe that is what you're working on right now, like the little piggy, stability. But if you're worried, right? If you're worried about the past repeating itself with this person, trust, if this is your reading, you have this assertive here, which is not about, it's like Queen of Swords. It's not about, I'm going to cut everybody's head off like the Queen of Hearts in Alice. Off with their heads. That's not what that's about. Queen of Swords is about standing in your authentic truth in a non-reactive way, not afraid to share how you feel. And I feel like a lot of us were brought up by society, by school, by our parents, to not be heard and to not speak up for ourselves. And this may be something that scarred you with your counterpart connection, where you had a hard time putting up boundaries. Like I'm saying empowered empath. Until an empath, unhealed empath, until they find their power, they can put up with a lot. Yes, we have divine feminine. I'm so happy. Sacred feminine, journeying back to self. And it's about you. You're the prize. You're the love of your life. You're the love you've been looking for your whole life. Right? I often see Tangled sometimes when I'm channeling. You guys know that. She was in that tower for so long, so afraid to leave, so afraid to put herself first, under her mother's thumb, right? She waited until Flynn Rider came. And then, I don't care what anybody says, the spark she felt with him was part of the reason she came down out of that tower. We don't need them. We don't need them to get out of our tower. We don't need them. We have our own ladder. Divine feminine. So if this is you, you're learning. Clearly you're balancing. Divine feminine, divine masculine. Right? Clearly you're balancing, but you're learning how to speak your truth. Tapping into your power. You wouldn't be chosen for this journey if you couldn't handle it. So trust that if something is repeating, even in another person, trust, because of what you've been through in any relationship in your life, the lessons that you've learned, trust that you're finding your voice and you can assert yourself. You can get your point across. This is going to be a long reading. I can feel it because I don't care about time right now. I'm with my friends. I'm with my divine feminines. I'm with my fishies. Anyway, what was I saying? I can't remember. I didn't realize it had stopped recording and I was talking. But trust in yourself that if you do have a fear because of past relationships, because of whatever you went through with, not talking about gender, there are so many divine masculines in feminine vessels. Shout out to my non-binary people as well. The same as there's divine feminines in men meat suits. But trust, you can't hide away worried that you're going to get hurt again, right? And I think that was a big thing that was blocking me from having friendships in my life. Even last night I was reflecting about that, about how I'm going to be vulnerable here for a minute. In the past, I haven't had healthy friendships. I haven't had healthy friendships. I mean, relationships too. Let's be honest. But I've never, I truly have never had healthy friendships. And last night I was reflecting about that, because I went to tell my friend Michelle that I had connected with Brie. And at first, I didn't want to tell her. And that has nothing to do with Michelle. Michelle is beautiful and supportive. But that was a past wound within me being triggered because in the past, I didn't have the best friendships that would be supportive, right? So trust yourself that you're making better choices. Trust in yourself. Again, that's what this journey is about. And if you truly are a divine feminine, you're meant to help other divine feminines. I keep getting goosebumps whenever I talk about that. All right, what is underneath here? Yeah, we have this needy card, which I don't like the word needy. Another label, right? You're too much. You're too needy. You're too clingy. You're too desperate. Clings to the divine masculine to make themselves feel better emotionally. That's what I'm talking about. That's that chaser energy. So you're looking outside yourself for them to fill up what's missing within you, right? They're sent into your life to mirror back to you the love that you feel for yourself that you haven't tapped into yet. Will do anything and everything to please the divine masculine. People pleasing, not putting up boundaries, accepting less than you deserve, shrinking your voice, right? Chasing, whatever. And that's why it makes me sad for those of you. I know a lot of you learn from all of this, right? You're here to learn, you're here to ascend. And that's why it makes me sad I don't want to mention the comments anymore. But there's a point to this. I'm not even going to mention a comment. But those people who are just stuck in anger, those people who are like, that person can get bent. Like, I gave them up and within 5 weeks I had somebody amazing. It's like, that is not divine feminine energy. Right? Or I see feminines on this journey who are in that energy and don't understand how stuck they are. I just feel like something that we could all benefit from is when we are in that triggered state, when we are acting from an unconscious place from our wounds, right? Just like they're supposed to reflect back to us the love that we're lacking within. When you are in that type of mindset, think about it. That's being reflected back to them. So what are they thinking about you? Another one. This is going to be a long one. I wish I could have snacks. I guess I could. Who says I can't have snacks on camera? I can do whatever the heck I want. Separation, physical, emotional, energetic. So you're definitely in separation. That's another thing. So many divine feminines are so scared of that separation that they hold on. They hold on. And they repeat cycles. And just embrace the separation. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. And if you are in separation, or if it feels like you're butting heads, if it feels like you're stuck, like stuck in stagnant energy, a tower has to happen to break that energy up. And I always say you can't see it when you're in it, but when you're out of it, you can see it clearly. Hi, Michelle. We have shame. Feeling painful humiliation or distress caused by understanding their wrong or foolish behavior. Separation. Let me think about this one. Maybe you are going through shame that you allowed somebody to treat you that way for so long. Maybe you are feeling shame for some of the shadows it triggered within you, right? It brings out the most beautiful side of you eventually, and the darkest side of you, right? It triggers wounds that you didn't even know you had. It makes you act in ways that you, again, when you're in separation, you think about how you're like, I can't believe I acted that way. I can't believe I kept putting up with that. I can't believe that part of me came out. Don't be too hard on yourself. And for whatever you're feeling shame for, 5 of Cups, regret, shame, right? Spilled milk. That's, whatever that is, you can heal it. And that's probably something that you need to heal, right? I used to be just like those negative commenters, and I feel some shame for it, but I learned from it. I'm gonna do this. Somebody suggested I get a altar cover. I do have one, but my altar covers are on my walls. I have a divine feminine one that I might put on here. All right, so, and again, it's going to be a long reading, but this journey is also about patience. I watch Love Island, right? Magic. I was talking to Brie. I watch Love Island because I don't understand humans. So I watch Love Island to study human behavior, right? To see how the humans behave, the muggles. And last night, instead of watching Love Island, which go ahead and watch Love Island, I spent my downtime watching a reading of Brie's. Like, you're the main character of your story. I've had people, like, I'm being very vulnerable in this reading. I'm just going to ramble on, okay? If you don't like it, I'll catch you next time. What was I going to say? Oh, it was something good. It'll come back to me if I need it to. Oh, I know what I was going to say, and I understand it. But I used to have people say, and if they say it now, I wouldn't know because Michelle is my moderator. But they'll say, I don't want to hear about me. Why are you spending so much time talking about me? I already know myself. I know myself. I don't need to hear about me. I want to know about them. No, wrong mindset. There's a reason I always start with you. You should want to hear about yourself. You should want to learn about yourself. It's reminding me of this. If you guys have ever watched Survivor, that can be a powerful experience for the people who go on that show. And I remember watching a season where there was this girl who was on it the entire time. She made it to the finale. And in her final interviews, she was like, I already knew everything about myself. I didn't need to learn anything. It was like, I think you do. But anyway, I used to be way more judgmental, but this journey is about you. You should want to hear about yourself. You should love yourself more than yearning for this person. I saw yearning on the bottom. And again, people who don't understand this journey, this stuff sounds like we're a bunch of crazy people. Like, it just, because I always say it doesn't make logical sense. It's not what's been programmed into us. It's not what we're supposed to believe. I've had my share of muggles who are just like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. My friend, right? And not everybody is supposed to get it, but we're supposed to get it. And one of the hardest things, like divine feminine to divine feminine, is having an ego death about other people's opinions, right? Because you can hear stuff that can make you wonder, am I crazy? Am I just imagining this? We've been programmed that way. But us divine feminines, we weren't meant to be programmed. We were meant to see through the veil. Anyway, I told you it's going to be long. So if you did grab a snack, tell me what you're eating, because I'm a Taurus and I love food. I would love to know what zodiac signs you guys are. I'm a Taurus sun, a Libra rising, and an Aquarius moon. And Michelle can tell me what it all means. I don't know what it means, but I do know I love food. And that's definitely a Taurus thing. So, scarred. Scarred. This one wants to come out. Impatient. Oh dear. Okay. So, yeah. So for some of you, like if you're feeling scarred, but then you're feeling impatient, afraid that patterns are going to repeat, but you just want them back, right? I'm feeling called to say that, you know, until you trust yourself, you shouldn't really want them back in your energy, especially if you feel, again, a lot of the time we get stuck in this mindset where it's everybody else's fault. And we need to look at what we are accepting, like how we allowed somebody to treat us like that. I always like to put myself in my kids' shoes, right? I say, if somebody was, and I had to do this on my journey, if somebody was treating my kid that way, what would I tell my kid? If someone was treating my kid that way, would I just stand there and let them treat my kid that way? Of course not. So why am I letting them treat me that way? Because we have to take accountability for allowing it. Impatient, wanting things to move quickly or progress faster with the divine masculine, right? So make it make sense. You're afraid of repeating mistakes. You don't trust yourself. Well, I don't think that's you though, because that's not what I'm seeing here. But anytime you're feeling impatient, right, that's your ego. That's your ego. And this journey teaches you patience. It teaches you to surrender. Surrender is on the bottom. So for those of you who are still worried about letting someone into your energy, whether it's them or not, because of lack of trust, where are you lacking trust within yourself? If you are your own divine masculine, your provider, your protector, right? Work on that divine masculine energy. Be your own protector, be your own provider. Don't allow people, don't give them the chance to hurt you, right? And this is something that people really need to work on. Not you guys. A lot of you here are mastering patience, right? That's why I say, you're working on your patience, you'll be fine. But for those of you who are like, 5 weeks is too long. 5 weeks is a drop in the ocean. Like, it's nothing. Think of all you could do in 5 weeks. Think of all you could accomplish. Right? The difference between spending, I'll just use an example from my own journey. The difference between spending, we'll just say 6 months. We'll just use 6 months. Think of all you could do in 6 months if you weren't waiting, if you weren't blaming, if you weren't in anger, if you weren't Why me if you weren't chasing, if you weren't accepting crumbs? Like, it mentally takes over your life, right? It takes over your life. It causes stagnancy. And that's why separation is a good thing, right? So me, I don't really want to tell you how long I spent, but I'm using 6 months as an example. I spent 6 months stuck. And then 6 months, like, only focusing on me. I accomplished so much that I couldn't accomplish when I was chasing love outside of me and I was, cursing the universe, or I've never attacked tarot readers, but people do. That's your ego. That's your ego. I don't think that's you, though. I think you're surrendering this because, yeah, we have surrender on the bottom. Letting go of negativity, listening to higher wisdom from yourself, shifting out of ego and into your soul self. Yes. You. Beautiful. And if you're not, you're missing out. Freedom. 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 Anyway. And we have mission work on the bottom, right? So that's what you're supposed to be focused on. If you're waiting for them, if you're blaming them, if you're overthinking, if you're supposed to be working on your healing, self-love, strong spiritual practice, the dolphin, surrounding yourself with like-minded spirits, the dolphin, and mission. And I always say, don't wait for them to start your mission, and don't abandon your mission if they pop back in. Again, I've had to tell people who have said, I'm waiting for union before I start my mission. No, your mission starts with you. And again, divine feminines, you all have a mission. And I'm not going to stop saying it just because that triggers some people, right? It used to trigger me. And do you know why? Because I was in denial about having a mission, because I was in fear, because I was in ego. Working to embody your highest potential, highest self and potential, passionately spreading your inner light, however that is for you, right? You feel it. I can see it in other people when their little soul spark is just blazing, right? I could see it last night when Bree was talking about divine feminines. I can see it in myself when I'm channeling, right? Whatever that is for you. This is a perfect example. Do you know how many countries could use help right now? Right? I'm getting chills when I'm mentioning this. Do you know how many people could benefit from your gorgeous energy that you've been pouring into somebody who's not seeing you? I just want to take them all. All right, let's keep going. Standing up for yourself. Lesson, valuable lessons. You're learning valuable lessons about standing up for yourself, about having healthy boundaries, about asserting yourself, about not caring what other people think. Everybody is going to have an opinion. Doesn't mean their opinion is right. Just like we have our opinions, right? Lesson, valuable soul lessons needed to make self whole again. So one of your valuable soul lessons was how to speak authentically. And what was that word? I just heard Little Mermaid. What's it called again? Oh, feet. Assertiveness, right? Without losing your marbles. Like for me, I could only get into that assertive energy when I was like pushed to my breaking point. I could only find that Queen of Swords energy when I was pushed to my breaking point. When I kept burning myself, burning myself, burning myself, burning myself, burning myself, letting other people burn me, although it's not their fault. I was sticking my hand in that fire. And then I was somebody who you had to push me. Like I can put up with a lot, right? Because of my childhood, but I can only be pushed so far before I said it yesterday, "Rawr," comes out, right? And you need to be able to find that voice before you hit that point. So that's a valuable soul lesson that you're learning here. How to speak your truth, how to speak your opinion, how to speak up for your needs, how to have healthy boundaries, how to share your voice with the world, how to be authentic and not hide parts of yourself to stay in situations that you don't really fit into, right? Transmuting. Beautiful. Your energy. Transmuting. Alchemizing lower vibrations into higher ones using the qualities associated with the divine feminine like intuition, compassion, and receptivity. You're magic. And that's what you do. You alchemize energy. You turn lessons into transformation. One of them about your Queen of Swords energy. Standing up for yourself in a calm and positive way so that you can trust that the next time somebody starts to project onto you or treat you in an unhealthy way, you can say, oh, just hang on a minute. I don't know who you think you're speaking to, but that I don't accept that type of behavior, right? Like, and you can say it in a calm way without fear of offending that person or fear that they'll run away forever, right? Transmuting lessons. Powerful, powerful, powerful. You know, I used to really struggle with relationships with women because I was lacking self-love and I saw them. I'm seeing the Five of Wands. I was threatened by any female. I was threatened by them. And that came from a very insecure place. And that's one of the things I love about this journey is I'm getting chills again. I have these beautiful relationships with these women. And it's about lifting each other up, not knocking each other down. And that's why I love all of you so much. It's why I show up here every day, because we should be supporting each other, woman or not, man or not, non-binary or not. There's so many fractures in this world. I keep getting like straight up goosebumps. All right, we also have passion. Feeling the magnetic pull. So in the past, you probably, because of this magnetic pull, because of the passion, because of the obsession, the longing you felt for this person, right? You probably didn't assert yourself or you weren't learning your lessons. All right. Divine Feminine. Let's confirm it. Divine Feminine. Divine Feminine. I'm just going to take the top one. So this is you. This one definitely wanted to come off. It came flying off the deck. Yeah, these two came out earlier. This is the one I saw. Trust. I always say this. Trust comes from within you, right? Trusting yourself, I talked about that, but trusting in the journey. If you're waiting for somebody to convince you, I recognize my own self-worth. Affirmation. March 4th could be symbolic. Or April 3rd. But anyway, if you're waiting for validation from them in the 3D that you're not crazy, you might be waiting forever. Trusting in your divine feminine journey comes from within. I listen to criticism to use it as fuel to get better. That's a good one. A lot of wounded souls, they see criticism as an attack, right? But there's a difference between constructive criticism and attacking someone's character. Let me just be clear about that. But anyway, ultimately, you are the one that has to release. Remember I said ego death, the fear, the maybe I'm not a divine feminine, maybe this is just a karmic, maybe this is just make-believe, maybe I'm wasting my time. All of that. Again, I cannot stress to you how different I am. I feel like little childhood me again in 555 on the timer, positive change, in the most beautiful way. I feel in ways that I never thought I would ever experience in this life. Self-love, happiness with myself, right? Healthy friendships, things like that. Magical freaking magic. So trust in your journey, trust in your divine masculine, trust in your divine plan. And that's not based on your ego's timing. Sooner or later, you have to make the choice to believe. Otherwise, you're going to be in that in-between stage. It's almost like I'm seeing some divine feminines in a waiting room, right? Like you're sitting in a waiting room waiting for somebody to come out and say, oh, you're a divine feminine. Come on in. Come join us. Just come on in. Don't wait for anybody to validate your journey or the fact that you're a divine feminine. Trust yourself. Beautiful, right? Like Fool energy. Just surrender and trust that the divine will catch you. July 14th could be symbolic. And we have hope. So you still have hope, which isn't a bad thing, right? It's only the innocent child archetype. It's only a bad thing if it's clouding your discernment and you're accepting less than you deserve. So for whoever I'm channeling here, you have trust and hope, right? And there's nothing wrong with having hope. It just breaks my heart to listen to people. I'm probably just delusional and I'm probably just this and blah, blah. Like, it just breaks my heart. And who's making you feel that way? Everybody else? Society? This is hope grounded in discernment. Separation. Creativity, exactly. That's during no contact, during separation, that's your time to ascend. That's your time to phoenix. That's your time to tap into that creativity. How many things could you do, right? Again, the amount of things that you can get done when you're not chasing somebody is crazy. We have clarity, able to see things clearly. That's exactly what I said. When it's right here, you can't see it clearly, right? But when you step back, focus out, you're able to see it clearly. You're able to see the patterns you were repeating, the behavior that you were putting up with, the blame. You're able to see it all. Clarity, new perspectives, and creativity. Able to tap into creative potential, feeling inspired to pursue your dreams. And I don't care if you tell me you're not a creative person. I don't believe you. You just haven't tapped into it yet, right? I'm somebody that says that, I used to say that I wasn't creative. I'm not an artist. I'm not whatever. All of these, you see, these pictures, the start of separation. all separation. I wrote a book. I started a YouTube channel. I found Soul Tribe people. I worked on healing. There's so many things that you can do. Anyway. But I feel, yeah, this is you, separation. So whoever you are, if you're on the fence about sharing your voice, it's time to surrender. It's time to trust and take that leap of faith, because this is all what I've been talking about. Voice, courageously speaking your truth, learning how to make your needs known, learning how to speak up about your needs, right? Not being afraid to ask for things, ask for help, not being afraid to say to someone like, it makes me really anxious when you leave me unread. Could you please just respond to me to let me know that you need to, whatever your needs are, right? Whatever your needs are. And not just with them, with everybody in your life, with the world. So you, under separation, we have clarity, voice, and creativity. Beautiful. And for those ones of you that are stuck waiting, this is what you're missing out on. A beautiful life where you're the main character. I love it. And we have flow, detached, accepting and no longer feeling the need to alter or control the situation. Tunnel vision. This is beautiful. Tunnel vision. You're so focused on yourself now, whereas in the past, you're tunnel vision on them, right? They're all you can see. They're all like, you see, like, I just want out of this tunnel to the end where I just want to see the light at the end of the tunnel. The light at the end of the tunnel is you, right? You have passionately focusing exclusively on your goals, dreams, visions, and desires, building an empire. So for those of you who have been thinking about it, now's your time. Spirit's going to catch you. Summer solstice, powerful, right? Surrender to the flow, share your voice, tap into that creativity. Even if it's just scribbles on a page, right? All right. Shame. What are you feeling shame for? What are you feeling shame for? Lack of balance. Feeling painful humiliation or distress. So you definitely could be feeling, you could definitely still struggle with shame. What is that? Is that somebody with a bag over their head? I can't even tell. Because you suffered a lot in this connection and you didn't know how to speak up. You didn't know how to stop it. You didn't know how to assert your needs, or you couldn't explain it in a way that your person would understand. You could be feeling ashamed because you let this happen for so long, right? And of course, shame, another natural emotion that we need to feel, but don't beat yourself up over it, because turn it into a lesson, right? I'll never allow that again. We also have balance here for underneath shame. So you could be feeling shame or disappointed in yourself that you accepted less for so long. I hope you're not feeling ashamed about balance in your life right now. I talk about that with one of my besties, my sunflower bestie. You know who you are. We talk about this, about the balance that we're trying to achieve in our lives, and about how sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves when we can't find that balance. It's like a balancing act, right? It's not going to be perfect every day. So try not to beat yourself up if you're struggling to balance things, right? This is also saying balancing feminine and masculine energies within, right? So perhaps you are feeling a bit of shame or remorse because you were lacking divine feminine or divine masculine energy. And on the bottom we have toxic addictions, codependency, chasing. or other addictions, substances or behavior used to numb feelings, drugs, thoughts, alcohol, working, chasing, codependency. I just heard love is underneath that, and I just heard I should have loved myself more. But you don't need to feel ashamed of that, because now you are loving yourself more. And it's not your fault that you didn't love yourself. You weren't taught how to. I said to my daughter one day, it was a couple weeks ago, I like to check in with my kids, right? Because that's not something I had. And I like to check in with how they're feeling. And I was in the kitchen with my daughter and I said, do you feel happy? I said, are you happy with your life? She said, yeah, I'm happy. And she was making all these funny laughs. Like, she's such a great little kid. She's such a great kid. She's really her authentic self. And she has all these different laughs that she does. And I say, I love all of your laughs. And I said, do you love your laughs? Do you love yourself? And she said, I do love myself. And it was like, I had to come upstairs. Well, I did get emotional in front of her. I don't believe in hiding emotions or pretending that life is perfect, right? But it made me cry. Because before I had kids, one of my huge fears, and I remember it, was how can I bring up a child in this world to be confident and love themselves when I don't love myself? I don't want to. How will I teach them that? Right? All right. I'm going to get 3 more, but your energy's good. Right? Think about it like it's a long journey. It's a very long journey. And just like you can't go become a doctor in a week, this takes more than a week, right? It takes years. 3 cards for you. 1. That's 2. 1 more. Confrontational. That's not you though. Not anymore. Ignore, right? So we have, this is what I mean, confrontational, hostile, argumentative, deals with things in an aggressive way. So both of you were probably quite aggressive with each other, or maybe like me, you had to be pushed to your breaking point until you would like, roar, right? It could have, when 2 egos, clash of the egos, I'm hearing distorted masculine energy, very aggressive. There can only be one winner, right? I'm right, you're wrong. Distorted masculine energy. But when 2 people who are in their ego, right, are going at it, nobody's going to win. Nobody's going to win that fight. I was watching Love Island, an older season, and there were these 2 people fighting. And this guy came in, emotionally mature, my goodness. He came in and he said, listen, he's like, you guys shouldn't be doing this right now. Like, you're both yelling at each other. You're not going to come to a compromise. You're not going to come to an agreement. You should just both take time apart and calm down and then try to approach it in a less aggressive way. And I was like, yes! Anyway, so, and part of it, because we have ignore here, ignoring the red flags, sweeping things under the rug, right? Ignoring the red flags. Every time, like, sweeping things under the rug, pretending that it wasn't bothering you. And it builds within you, and eventually overgive, you become resentful. And it comes out like that. I'm definitely seeing here that there was intimacy. So maybe you could connect on an intimate level, but then to connect this way, you know, you could have been in a cycle, right, of accepting less than you deserved, seeing the red flags, sweeping things under the rug, making up, arguing, making up, arguing, making up, arguing, right? And that you're not doing that anymore from what I'm seeing in your cards. And that, again, that's probably something you learned somewhere along the way. Is that how conflict was dealt with in your house? Right? When there was conflict, did your parents talk to you about it? Or was everything swept under the rug? Never to be spoken about again, right? I always say when we sweep things under the carpet, eventually we're going to trip over it. We're going to trip over the mound of dirt that we're hiding underneath that carpet or that mat. I don't know why I said carpet. It's the mat. I always mix them up. And then we have nurture. So that really could have taken you out of your nurturing feminine energy, right? Empathy, understanding, and emotional kindness, kind and caring, right? Empowered empath. So you're learning unconditional love. You're learning to be compassionate for others, but to no longer sweep things under the rug, to no longer ignore the red flags within them and within you, because we have red flags within us as well. We have third parties, so there could have been a third party interference here that was getting in the way, right? Could have had a negative influence on the connection, on the person you were connected to, on you, right? My friend would be a good example of negative third party energy. And then we have flow. And so many people get hung up on the third party, right? Because it's triggering. It makes us feel rejected. It makes us feel replaced or not good enough. Again, it's meant to teach us that it's not about us. Them choosing somebody else has nothing to do with us and everything to do with them. Or choosing the opinions of others over it, right? Detached. Accepting and no longer feeling the need to alter or control the situation. Beautiful. Your final card, flow. Beautiful. All right. Oh, it's so hot here. It's so hot. But I don't like complaining. Whenever my kids complain, it's like 2 weeks ago you were complaining that it was too cold. Like, what do you want? Find the silver lining. I went out and gave water to the birds today. Look at my hair. I went out and gave water to the birds because I was watching the crows and they were like panting like little dogs. They were like, so I gave them water. This is what I mean about giving your energy, right? There's so many things in the world you could give your energy to who need it, who want it, who appreciate it. Animals are a great one. That's why I feed my birds. All right. What am I doing? What am I doing? Let's get these ones. I was so excited when these came. Not these, I already had these. The other two. We'll get your person's card in a minute. They can wait. You know what? Speaking of Love Island, I'm not going to give anything away. But I just had it on. I was trying to like decompress by watching Love Island. I don't care, judge me. But I was watching it, and if you've been watching it, right, I don't want to give anything away, but this guy went to Casa Amor and was like playing it up with some other girl. Anyway, and he came back, and if you don't watch Love Island, this will make no sense. What is Casa Amor? I'm not going to explain that to you right now. But when he came back, the girl he was originally with stayed loyal to him, and he decided to come back alone, even though the whole time he was in Casa, he was sleeping with another girl, he was grinding on another girl, he was telling this girl that he wanted to choose her. Like, he was not acting in the right way, in my opinion. And he came back and he chose the girl that he was originally with in the villa. And every time she tried to bring up the things that she needed to talk about, people and him would say, well, I chose you, didn't I? And I was just watching an episode where she stood up and she said, why is that the prize, that you chose me, right? Like, it was almost like I was seeing an empowered divine feminine who was like, you want me to be happy because you chose me after you hurt me, after you cheated on me, after you said all these things about me and were intimate with another girl, and I'm supposed to be happy that you're choosing me? Like, that's the prize? That you're choosing me? Right? Anyway, I don't know why that just came to my mind. I just wanted to bring it up because she was right. Why is that the prize? She was having a Queen of Swords moment. She found her voice. All right. Friend or foe? Be careful. Again, anybody who's not... Anybody who doesn't ask about how you're doing, how doesn't want to hear about your accomplishments, your hard times, who feels threatened, right, if you're doing well in life, or... That's not a real friend. That's not a real friend. All right. You know what? I kind of want to get... No, I'll get them. I will get them. I'm gonna start with 2 for you, because I just heard, like, maybe you should get the masculines first, and then you'll be able... I'm gonna get 2 for you, and then we'll see. 2 for you. 2 for you. This is not you. Well, let me get another one. That was what I was worried about. Hang on. The Divine Feminine, please. The Divine Feminine. Rest and reset. Authentic expression. Yeah, there you are. There you are, my little nightingale. Speaking your truth. No longer shrinking. Letting your real self shine. Alignment over approval. So really being your authentic self right now, and that's how you call in the people who are meant to align with you and the opportunities that are meant to align with you, is being your authentic self. Rest and reset. Yes. Learning how to prioritize rest. That's another thing that a lot of people struggle with, guilt over resting. Another thing that was programmed into us. We're supposed to be having fun in this life. We're supposed to be resting and taking care of ourselves and having fun. And it's not all work, 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 which is what they want us to believe. And by them, I mean the muggles. Slowing down, quiet healing, restoring inner peace, listening to your body. And your body will, you know, as being someone who's been labeled autistic and ADHD, highly spiritual, not meant for this world. I always had a really hard time. I was disconnected from my body. Like I didn't know when I was thirsty. I didn't know when I was hungry. It was just a mess, right? And now, like, learning how to listen to your body. So when something feels out of alignment, you can feel it, right? Or when you're around someone or their name pops up on your phone and you feel anxious, that's your body saying, no, there's something out of alignment here, right? And to be honest, with that old friend of mine, I felt like that whenever I was going to see her. I would feel like anxious. So we do have this missed opportunity card. And I don't think you're looking at it as a missed opportunity, because true divine feminine energy, you know you're not missing anything. You know you're not missing an opportunity because you're in surrender, right? You definitely could feel like it could have been more. Actually, when I was in that store where I got the pig, Synchronicities, I was buying this pig and they were playing We Could Have Had It All by Adele. And I always hear that song. Listen to this magic, right? Connecting the dots. I always hear that song when I pull the crocodile card in that animal deck, because it's about intentionally withdrawing your energy so that your next move comes from a place of power, not the, right? Sorry if that was loud. And you have rest and reset here, intentionally withdrawing your energy. And you probably do feel like you could have had it all with this person if things had aligned, if, you know, whatever, right? It all happened for a reason, is what I'm hearing. Because it also says lessons through loss. So you're also seeing the lessons through your loss, understanding that the timing wasn't right. There was something out of alignment. It wasn't a reflection of your worth. Acceptance brings peace. And that's why I talk so much about acceptance and releasing resistance and just accepting that this is your journey. Because the longer you stay in resistance and on that, I don't know, like, they're probably just a karmic, I'm probably just stupid, I've just wasted all this time. No, it's all been part of your growth. How is that a waste? How is the journey back to yourself a waste? Right? So yeah, feeling like you could have had it all with this person if you weren't both wounded, or if you had learned to speak from an authentic self sooner, or put up boundaries sooner, or they would have, whatever, blah, 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 right? But you know it was needed in order to learn these lessons. And again, moving forward, I'm just thinking about that crocodile. Next time you feel that crocodile energy within you where you just want to intentionally withdraw your energy, cool off, temperance, right? Cool off, so that your message comes from a place of power and strength, not reaction. All right. It's very hot. 3 more for you. Collaboration energy. Yes, collaboration energy. Right? Three of Pentacles. Teamwork, harmony, shared vision, balanced contributions, building something lasting. This is the type of energy you need and want in your life. And anything that's not this, it's not aligned with you. If you don't feel like you can be your authentic self, what's the point? We have conflicted heart. I'm telling you, for some of you, you could have friends or even family where they cause you to doubt yourself, or they cause you to feel conflicted. You could feel conflicted whether or not you should still have a friendship with them, right? Because maybe it doesn't feel like this collaborative energy. And on the bottom, we have toxic comfort, hard to let go, familiar chaos, repeating cycles, learning self-worth. And that's the thing. When we're wounded, we feel comfortable in toxic energy and negative energy and things like that. But once you start healing, you outgrow those. And I use this example, like with that friend that I used to have. I used to align with her because I was in my darkness, right? I was very negative and I love like judging people, and she would tell people off on the internet and send me screenshots, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're saying that to that person, ha ha ha. When inside I was like, I can't believe you're saying that to a stranger on the internet, but I didn't want to say that. And we just didn't align. The last time I was with her, we had nothing to talk about. So if you have mixed emotions about releasing things, people, jobs, anything in your life that's not aligning with you, remember they're taking up space. Think of it. Out with the old, in with the new, right? I was hearing it all day. I don't know what card it's from. Something about a new beginning is on its way to you now. Make room, because a new beginning is on its way to you now. So if you are around people where you feel unsure, where you feel conflicted over hurt, they're making you overthink your choices, right? Especially when it comes to who you truly are. Let it go. Make room for your soul tribe. And it's magic when you connect with your soul tribe. It's magic. Magical things happen. You don't need to stay in that familiar chaos anymore. You've outgrown it. A few more for you. Imposter syndrome, no. Do you need me to pump you up? Do you need me to pump you up? Imposter syndrome. Doubting talent. Don't doubt your talent. Comparing journeys. Don't compare your journey to anyone. We're all on different journeys. We're all on different journeys. Right? We're all in the same ocean in different boats. Going at different speeds, and that's okay. Different kinds of boats. Some of us have paddles, right? Some of us have big ass motors and we can go really fast. Doesn't matter. This is something I had to get over too, right? And I struggled with this my whole life. Like, you could be doubting that you're a divine feminine because of your imposter syndrome. You could be doubting putting yourself out there because, oh, there's so many other people out there doing it. Who cares? They're not you. Someone out there is waiting to hear your voice or read your words or see your message. I could say that, I'll give you comparison. I could say the exact same thing to them, but because they're not, how can I put this? You and I could make a video and give the exact same message, but maybe they're going to hear you and not hear me, right? It's so pointless to compare ourselves to others because we're all different humans with different experiences on different paths. And this will stop you from going after your mission. I've been through it. I sat in this exact spot, nothing on my walls, no stuffies. My room was empty, it was barren. I was sitting right here in a chair by my window with my phone, watching tarot. Probably Brie, step into your mission. And I would hear, like, I can't do that. I could never be like that. I could never be like that. Or I'd watch SO Tarot and Kino Tarot and I thought, they're magic. I could do that. And then my fear would be like, no, you could never do it like them. You could never compare to them. When I was a photographer, it was so competitive. Like, I would go to outside parks to take photos and other photographers would be there and they would never make eye contact with each other. It was like we were all in this silent competition. It was ridiculous. I am open to trying new things and expanding my horizon. That's what you need to do to tap into your mission. But don't forget your own worth. Again, don't compare yourself to someone else on the journey because they're on a different journey than you. For all you know, they could have been on it for 10 years. Makes sense why they would have whatever you're seeing that they have that you don't. You can have it too. So instead of comparing yourself to them, sit down and write down things about who you used to be, the older version of yourself. And then write down all the ways in which you've changed and grown and healed, and you're beautifully different now. Compare yourself to that, not to anybody else. That'll keep you stuck. That's what those muggles want us to do, right? Societal standards and I had to run a brush through my... I'm so warm. Why do you, like, don't compare yourself to others, because there's only one you. And guess what? You don't... I believe in my abilities to succeed. Believe in your abilities to succeed. Believe in yourself, right? Nobody... You can't wait for somebody else to believe in you, although I believe in you, and I tell you that every day. Because I do believe in you. What is that? Imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome. I'm going to read it. Remember, you are not here merely to make a living. You are here to enable the world to live more amply, with great vision and with a finer spirit of hope and achievement. Imposter syndrome convinces you that no matter how much you achieve, you are unworthy of your own success. It whispers that you are an outsider, that your skills, talents, or contributions There's my dyslexia coming through. I always say where I come from, the star that I come from, we didn't have words. We spoke in energy, but anyway. Contributions, I can't believe how long it took me to get that. Contributions are not enough, that sooner or later someone will uncover the truth that you don't belong. It causes you to dismiss your accomplishments as luck. Do you know what's interesting? When I first started, the people around me would actually feed this imposter syndrome within me. And they'd be like, oh, you're actually getting people on your YouTube channel? Well, that's because everybody's on YouTube now. Oh, people are saying nice comments about you? Oh, that's because people will just say fluffy things because they have nothing better to do. Like, the people around me, toxic, right? Why are you doing that? They would feed that imposter within me. Even when the first time Brie meant, like, this is a weird reading. Like, it's very, I feel like I'm among friends, right? That's what it is. But anyway, I wish you could talk back. I can hear you. Say it in the comments. I want to hear. What was I saying? When Brie first mentioned me, she came, I did not want to tell Brie that she inspired me. She came across my channel a year and a half ago. I saw her in my comment section. I was like, what is going on? And I felt such imposter syndrome. I felt like, oh my gosh, like, what if she doesn't think I'm good enough? And oh my gosh. Imposter syndrome, right? Anyway. And if anybody is feeding this imposter syndrome, they're not a real friend. Where was I? It causes you to dismiss your accomplishments as luck, minimize your own abilities, and overcompensate by pushing yourself harder, fearing that if you stop, everything will fall apart. But your value was never meant to be measured about how flawlessly you perform. It was always about the impact you make, simply as showing up as yourself. Who cares if you're not perfect? Show me a perfect person. Show me. I challenge you, show me a perfect person. You can't. Maybe an animal. Healing from imposter syndrome means shifting your focus from proving your worth to embodying it. You are not here just to meet expectations. You are here to bring something unique to the world, something that no one else can. Your purpose is not to be perfect, but to contribute, to create, to inspire. Listen to the birdies singing for you. When you recognize that your presence alone makes a difference, you release the need for constant validation. You belong not because you have earned it, but because you have something to give that only you can, and that is more than enough. You know what? My friend wasn't the only one who said stuff like that to me. And I'm talking like 2 years into having my channel and feeling like I accomplished a lot, right? Somebody said to me, somebody close to me, who I wanted so desperately to see the real me, said, psychics aren't real. Nobody can tell the future. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, I just didn't know what to say. It was like, that's me. Like, I love magic. I believe in all of that stuff. How could, if you know me, how could you say that to me, right? Like, we can all have our different opinions, but they were stating it like it was fact. They were also the one that made the comments about, oh, well, everybody's on YouTube now, so you could do anything and people would pay attention. Like, meh. And it's a little bit of jealousy and envy, right? Where was I? A deep and persistent feeling of being unworthy of one's achievements, talents, or success, often accompanied by the fear of being found out as a fraud. This wound manifests as self-doubt, minimizing accomplishments, and attributing success to luck, timing, or the help of others, rather than personal effort and skill. There may be an internalized belief that one is never truly good enough, leading to cycles of overworking, perfectionism, and an inability to internalize praise. Trigger! Some may struggle with chronic comparison, feeling like they must constantly prove their worth, while others may avoid opportunities altogether to accept the risk of failure. Emotionally, this wound can create anxiety, burnout, and difficulty embracing one's own growth. Bark, bark, bark! Physically, it may manifest as tension in the chest, stomach discomfort, or headaches from excessive mental pressure. Over time, imposter syndrome can lead to missed opportunities, fear of visibility, and an inability to celebrate personal wins. Watch for patterns of brushing off compliments. I'm looking at some of you, because if I resonate with that, and you're here, quiet. I'm just kidding. You can talk. Share your voice. Anyway, hesitating to take credit for work or feeling unqualified even in areas of expertise. Suppressing the imposter syndrome by either avoiding challenges altogether. I need to put on my glasses. That's why I'm holding it like this, right? Focus out. Avoiding challenges altogether or overcompensating through relentless achievement instead of confronting the root insecurity. Some may downplay their ambitions, refusing to pursue new opportunities. I'm just giving him space to share his voice. He's done. Refusing to pursue new opportunities out of fear that they will be exposed as inadequate. This can manifest as self-sabotage, procrastination, or staying in the background to avoid scrutiny. Right? I hid in the background of tarot readings. I never wanted to make myself known. Like in the comment section. I know some of you do that. Okay. I want to give him space to share his voice. He has something to say. Some may struggle with accepting rest or ease, believing that if something comes naturally, it must not be valuable. Watch for patterns of perfectionism, fear of slowing down, or dismissing successes as meaningless. Beneath both extremes lies the same longing to feel truly secure in one's own abilities without needing proof or permission to exist in spaces of success. So, where did you first learn that you needed to prove your worth through achievements? School? Do I allow myself to feel pride in my accomplishments, or do I downplay them? I tend to downplay them. What fears come up when I receive praise or recognition? It's different for me now. It used to be very uncomfortable. And I didn't trust it. Why? Because I didn't know myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't trust myself. So I didn't believe it. How do I define success, and what is my definition based on my own values or external expectations? Have I ever hesitated to pursue something because I didn't feel qualified? I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. Who said you're not qualified? Right? I'm hearing Selena Gomez. What song is that? What song is that? Who Says by Selima Gomez, right? Who says? I can't remember the words. So not me, I'm not saying it, but who says you're not qualified? Programming, it's programmed into you. Oh, you have to go to college and university if you want to make something of yourself, and if you want a good job, you have to have that piece of paper. What past successes have I minimized or attributed to luck? Do I believe I am as competent as others perceive me to be? Why or why not? What would my life look like if I fully trusted in my own abilities? It's magical. Have I ever felt like an imposter even when I had clear evidence of my skills? We're gaslighting ourselves, you guys. That's what we're doing. How can I start embracing my accomplishments without needing outside validation? Be your own validation. Think about those. Journal about them. Get it out of your body. You are worthy. Who says you're not? Who says you can't take up space and be in the light? I saw something really sad. I saw some weird feud going on over on Instagram between two healers. Anyway, they both share a lot of the same content, and clearly one of them heard an inspiring message from the other one and then did a video and said, I read this today, or I heard this today, and they repeated it. And then the person that inspired them, and then they were trying to share it with their friend group, right? Instagram, like, I think people forget that, why am I rambling? I think people forget that you're allowed to go on there and create an account and share what you like and connect with other people as like a friendship thing, not as like, I need to go viral type of thing, right? This person literally, I don't know why I'm talking about this. This person literally said, I saw today this message, right? And the person who originally posted it was so upset, ego was so triggered. That person is copying me. That person, I said that, and now they're saying it and they're getting views and likes. What if that person is just interacting with their friends? What if that person was inspired by what you said and wanted to share it? Like, what? Like, in the beginning of this reading, I said some of the things that Bree said. What's your goal, right? Is your goal to help and inspire people? Then who cares what anybody else is doing? If your goal is to be viral and be the best, and like, you're not doing it for the right reasons. Anyway, I don't know where that came from. I just get like, true light workers are not in competition with each other. When true light worker, when people like that are showing up like that, that's ego. That's like, you're still not awake, right? You're still not seeing it. Anyway, like, I'm just like, you can see, I was just like, what is happening here? She was inspired by you, so she shared your message. Like, oh no, now she's getting little hearts on her video. Who cares? Anyway, I don't know where that came from. One more for you. And all of this is what I'm talking about by being your authentic self, right? And it triggers people. Amazing. Love, rewrite. New chapter. Didn't I say make room for the new beginning that's on its way to you? Emotional maturity. You. Releasing old patterns. Ready for better beginnings. Ready for healthy friendships. Ready to find your soul tribe. Bark, 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 bark. I'll be right back. All right. Ready for better friendships, healthier friendships, right? Ready for what is meant for you. Ready for healthier things, better experiences. Releasing old patterns, learning lessons, trusting yourself to not repeat those patterns again, right? And we have toxic comfort and full circle. This is a world energy completion. Closure gained. You find your own closure, right? Lessons integrated. So once you start learning these lessons, then you start integrating them in your experiences, in your connections, in your friendships, in your relationships. Peace restored, acceptance achieved. Full circle moment from toxic comfort, craving chaos, hard to let go, familiar chaos, repeating cycles that taught you self-worth. You will never... I'm hearing that sound clip that used to be around years ago. I will never allow anyone to trigger that version of me again, right? That version is still there. That version is part of your story. That version served a purpose. But now you're integrating these lessons. And every time you integrate these lessons, every time you make choices from a conscious place and you express yourself and you're authentic and you put up boundaries and you walk away from things that don't align with you, you get stronger, right? The seed, the sand in never-ending story. The more wishes you make, the more powerful it becomes. All right. I just went super authentic with you. All right, I just need to go stand in front of a fan for a minute. I'll be right back. I was standing over by my fan, in front of my fan. And I have these ears over there. When I went to Florida a few years ago, everybody picked ears. And I had like a broken, wounded inner child. And I'm like, no, I don't want any ears. But I bought ears. And I bought the pride ones. Love is love. Love is love. Anyway, I wanted to show them to you. I'm going to take them off now. Love is love. All right, now I just want to get a few tarot cards for you. I picked the Moonchild Tarot. Moonchild! Death, beautiful, transformation, shedding that old version of self, acceptance. Like, think about it. All those cards showed someone like, just take me. Not like that. Not like that. Beautiful. All those versions of yourself. Amazing new things are waiting to happen to me today. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Death, Scorpio, transformation, all those old versions of self that once kept you safe. I'm not reading I'm not reading the card. I'm getting a download. But all those versions of you that kept you safe, right, when you were younger, that no longer align with you, you're shedding those and they weigh you down. The resentment, the doubt, it all weighs you down. It all keeps you chained down, right? Your imagery today, there's so many cards of acceptance. So accept your mission. Mission. All right. We have the Knight of Pentacles, slow moving energy, slow and steady. Knight of Pentacles, entrepreneur, slow and steady. If you're determined, you can achieve anything you put your mind to. I love the Knight of Pentacles. It's the most determined knight in the deck. Anything the Knight of Pentacles puts their mind to, they will achieve. Patience. And just like I used the example, right? I like to use examples. A person can't go to medical school and become a doctor in a week. There's a reason they have to go to school for so long, right? Just like this journey is long. Calling in the people you're meant to help can take a while. It takes a while for your light to get out there. Keep sharing it. And I cannot stress enough about being your authentic self. And yes, being your authentic self triggers people. It's very high vibrational, but it's if they know what it's, if they're aware of triggers, like triggers are a key to what we need to heal, right? I've learned if I'm ever seeing anything that's triggering me, right, in that way. So people who are triggered by your authenticity, it's because they want to be authentic. It's because they're not their authentic selves. They're pretending to be somebody else. Anyway. No, once is enough. Once is enough. Anyway, this is the Moonchild Shadow deck. Oh dear, Wally needs a bathroom. Hang on. All right. Queen of Pentacles on the bottom. Your stability. Queen of Pentacles. Wally found an empty box. I have this empty box that he showed interest in, so now I just leave it in here so that he can go in it and scratch it and pretend he's, I don't know what he pretends, but Wally. Hi, buddy. Mr. Blue Eyes. Queen of Pentacles. So Queen of Pentacles is actually an independent energy. It's about embracing your independence, right? You could be very focused on your material world. You could be focused on your animals, your children, your home, grounding. And right underneath we have the King of Pentacles, counterpart energy. Hopefully this means that you're both grounding and both working on stability, but that's what you're calling in, right? You're calling in a partner, King of Pentacles. You're being your own protector, provider. Remember I said that? And then we have the Ace of Wands and the Four of Wands. Look at that beautiful Four of Wands. I'm seeing it like light your soul spark on fire, inner union, right? Ace of Pentacles, new opportunities. All right, I'm just gonna get a few for you. Yes! All right. So we do have Knight of Cups, and we have Five of Swords in reverse. No longer self-sabotaging. No longer, do you know what I'm hearing? No longer gaslighting yourself about your own intuition. Because to me, in this reading, the way that I'm seeing that Knight of Cups, right? That Knight of Cups follows their intuition no matter what. And you have this energy of surrendering to your intuition. Instead of looking at it like super logical, King of Swords on the bottom, doesn't make logical sense. And doubting yourself and gaslighting yourself, you're releasing those limiting beliefs. You're learning how to trust your intuition and believe in your intuition is what I'm hearing. There's some naked business on these cards, so I can't show all of them, but I'll show them to you close because they're so beautiful. That's the Knight of Cups, right? Look at this imagery, intuitive reader. There's reflection here. There's two cups, right? So no longer accepting less than you deserve. No longer losing yourself, self-sabotaging for the sake of another person. Reflecting perhaps about connections in your life. Learning how to speak from a more vulnerable place. To not stay small, right? To not self-sabotage. Surrendering to the flow. There's even a crow up there in the picture, right up here. Maybe you're an intuitive reader. So these behaviors, right, your survival patterns that kept you safe in the past, they no longer serve you. You're releasing them. And we also have a sword down here. It's on her right side, which to me, sword down, no contact, right side of the body, masculine. Another one for you. I'm going to be honest, I could just sit here all day and read your energy. I don't need to look at them. don't need to look at them. The sun, you're shining. Beautiful. The sun, you are shining. Healing, happiness, fulfillment, gratitude. Right? Masculine energy. And look at those two people. When two happy people, soul tribe, come together, they elevate each other. That's exactly what I was talking about. That's beautiful. You're learning, like, listen, you're learning not to chase, not to speak authentically. No, I take that back. No. You're learning not to speak from a triggered place. Remember, we talked about that. Knight of Swords, very reactive, very intense, right? Very like, somebody says something to you and you're like, learning not to take impulsive action. Learning not to chase clarity. Think of that Knight of Cups. That clarity comes from within. Sword down. No contact. And again, there's multiple versions of this person here, right? So you're healing those versions of yourself that would chase. Those versions of yourself that would overwork or try and juggle everything. Or react from those wounds towards other people. When you feel these reactions, you're learning to soothe yourself is what I'm hearing. Like, look at the versions, past versions of this person, right? And even intuitive reader, look at the that looks like an eclipse, but look at that sun shining over the moon, like your shadows being illuminated, you healing those shadows, learning how to speak, learning how to take accountability, learning that you deserve balance, that you deserve to be treated fairly, that you are not in denial, that you're seeing things clearly. Balance of head and heart is what I'm hearing. I gotta put that card down because there's a nipple on it. The sun, beautiful. King of Cups, loving yourself. Highest form of love there is. Balance of head and heart, I just said it. Balancing of head and heart so that you keep calm in conflict, right? Emotional maturity. King of Cups. You could be working on masculine energy right now. The Chariot. And look, she is alone in that chariot. You're focused on your journey. Why am I hearing George Costanza? That's weird. I was just hearing, believe it or not, George isn't at home. I was seeing when he goes, where could I be? Like, where could that divine masculine be? You don't care. Such a weird reading. What are you struggling with right now? Oh, fear of rejection, scarcity mindset, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. Like, maybe you do feel a little lost right now, especially when it comes to your pentacle world. I think for some of you, this is about that imposter syndrome, right? We've got the Seven of Cups in reverse, which means you have clarity about what you want to do about a pentacle situation is what I'm hearing. And Seven of Cups in reverse, clarity, seeing the truth. But that Seven of Cups can talk about, the reversal can talk about not taking any action. So maybe you're feeling like it's time to take action towards your mission, for example, but you have that imposter syndrome or fear of rejection. You could still be working on healing abandonment and rejection wounds, and that's okay. Maybe a father figure. Wounds from a father figure. You could be struggling with self-confidence when it comes to your job, your finances, your mission. You may be hyper fixated on them, right? Not all of you, but I'm asking, like, what are you struggling with right now? You know, you could be going through a situation with your job where you're having problems with management, or you don't feel appreciated, or you feel like you have to stay there because you have no other options and that you need the money, right? That's like living from that scarcity, lack type of place, holding on to things that no longer serve you. Well, having clarity about wanting to work towards your mission, you can do both, right? Well, you find your feet on your mission. I'm just going to ask how you're feeling about this person. And then I should probably get some about them. Wheel of Fortune. So you feel like this was a fated connection, right? Destiny, that you needed to accept that changes needed to happen. That if it's meant to be, it'll come back around. Clearly you're healing from this, right? 9 of Swords, like you're healing and recovering from what happened in this connection. You're learning to release. I think this connection awakened you. We have Moonchild. We have Moonchild. There's nudity on this one, so I can't show it to you. But for how you feel about this person, Page of Cups, like they could have awakened your inner child. They could have awakened you to your magic, right? They could be a huge part of your awakening process. But this 9 of Swords, for how you feel about them, I'm going to be honest, this really doesn't seem like your energy. And if it is, release that anxiety. If it's meant to be, it'll come back around. But I feel like for how you feel about your person, they could have been in victim mindset. They could have a lot of things that they need to heal and recover here. I'm not getting you feeling anxious about this person. How are you feeling about them? The Fool, Queen of Cups. 7 of Pentacles. So you invested a lot, right? 7 of Pentacles. Trusting that if it's meant to be, you'll see the reward on your investment. The piggy talked about that, right? Queen of Cups for how you feel about them. So I definitely feel you have an intuitive connection with them. There's a lot of love there. Queen of Cups, same as the King of Cups, there's a lot of love there. But that Queen of Cups, like it feels like you were an overgiver, right? You're learning how to focus on your cup and protect your emotional boundaries. They could have been a catalyst for you on your healing journey or becoming a healer. And we have the Fool for how you feel about them. It feels like you're feeling when it's the right time, there will be a new beginning. Again, they could have started you on this Fool's journey, right? They could have triggered your, not your awakening, but your dark night of the soul. Let's get one more. Again, it feels like you're trusting that they'll take a leap of faith towards you when the time is right. One more for how you feel about them. Judgment. I just said about awakening you, right? So clearly they were a part of your awakening, your dark night of the soul, I'm hearing. That they taught you a lot about yourself, right? That there's mirroring. They were mirroring back to you things that you needed to self-evaluate here. I feel like you've ascended out of their energy and they need to wake up, right? They have self-evaluation to do. They have lessons to learn. Not just you. Doesn't that look like J-Lo? Three of Swords, it was crossing. Three of Swords, so you're in separation. But it was, you're releasing resentment. Thankful for the lessons, hoping that they're healing. And that's the energy that they need you to be in, right? Like, again, if you're sending out, nah, 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 they'll never change, blah, 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 negativity, you're sending that through the cords, right? Just like that's what you're attracting in when you're in that energy. The Hierophant. Higher level of commitment. I always see this as a spiritual connection where you were meant to learn spiritual lessons. All right. What is your advice? What is your advice? The Sun, King of Cups. The Empress! What are you feeling inspired to take action towards? Page of Swords is here. That Page of Swords, the Firefly, if you don't grab onto it, you'll miss it. Do you know how many magical things happen to me when I get a Page of Swords, or Page of, why do I always say that? Page of Wands, Page of Wands, Page of Wands. That is that little inspired action where a little voice inside of you says, maybe I should do that. Oh, I feel a connection with that person. Maybe I should ask them if they want to be my friend. Maybe I should reach out to them. Right? What are you feeling inspired to take action towards? Not this person. I don't even have to tell you that. Your creativity. Right? Your creativity. Taking inspired action. Whenever you have a feeling out of nowhere, like, oh, maybe I should do that. Do it. You're being given that for a reason. This is looking like a download to me. This is what a download feels like. Look at it. And we have the Empress. You're doing great. Divine Feminine. You're doing amazing. Divine Feminine energy. Beautiful. Continue to nurture yourself. You don't have to chase anything. The Sun, King of Cups. For some of you, you might be thinking about being an advisor or a counselor, right? But focus on keeping a healthy balance of head and heart, right? Focus on your healing. Focus on your fulfillment. Focus on your happiness. Focus on you. And that Page of Wands, again, beautiful. Page of Wands. Start creating. Start taking action towards things like that. All right, I need 1 minute. I'll be right back. All right, so I shuffled this off camera, cleansed the energy, shuffled this off camera. This card came sliding off the top, and I want to talk about it because there's some mirroring here. Okay, and one thing right before this card fell off the top, I was hearing, you know, for you Divine Feminines, right? Sometimes when you watch these and you see the energy the Divine Masculine is in, it can be mirroring back to you some of the things that you can work on to energetically help, right? I know that sounds weird, but we have cowardice, no courage, afraid to tell the truth, afraid to do the right thing. And I was just thinking about some of you with the imposter syndrome. So where in your life are you afraid to tell the truth? Where are you lacking courage? Mirror. Right? Anyway. You're the person connected to you. The person connected to you. So we have travel. Traveling to see you, possibly. Although I was getting no contact. For work, with friends, family, etc. So they could be traveling right now, or I was hearing like maybe they're on their journey, right? Maybe they're starting to take steps forward on their journey. But for some of you, this person could be traveling right now. We also have unworthy. So where are you feeling unworthy? Do you see my point? not feeling good enough for you, doesn't think they deserve love, attention, or respect. And this is what I mean by mirroring. If you are like in that negative mind frame where you're like, they don't deserve love, they suck. I don't even want to speak it into existence. But if you're one of those people who says stuff like that, that's the energy that you're reflecting back at them. Anyway, clearly this person is lacking confidence right now. So where are you lacking confidence? We also have overindulgence. Lessons of change and balance. That's good. We'll see if it comes out. All right. Oh, worthy. I'm getting hot and cold energy, right? Like Rapunzel in Tangled, where she's like, bah, 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 like back and forth, hot and cold, like, I'm not worthy. I'm trying to be worthy. I'm not this. So, learning how to feel deserving of respect and love. And what did they teach you? How to respect yourself and love yourself. That you are worthy of respect. That Queen of Swords energy that we saw. They have intimacy on the bottom. Self-critical. This is what I mean. Like, if you are struggling with this, even if it's about your mission, affirmations, you are worthy, you are good enough to go after your mission, you are powerful. Because this person, it's like back and forth, I suck, I'm all right, I suck, I'm all right. Self-critical, right? So this is what I'm talking about. When somebody's on the other end of that energy, criticizing, blah, 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 right? Speaking it into existence. Anyway. Karmic energy. So, I feel like this person has somebody in their energy, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's a whatever, work relationship, love relationship. You're surrendering it, right? I saw that in your energy. This person is teaching them a very important lesson, that they are worthy of love. And you were giving that love to them, right? You were giving that love to them, and they didn't feel worthy of it when they were with you. Unconsciously, I'm hearing. And now, whoever's around them is teaching them a very important lesson, that you were trying to give that love to them, right? Whoever this person is that's around them, very critical. I hope that's not you. Unreasonable expectations, exaggerates the negatives, extremely judgmental on themselves, perfectionist. I'm getting a very clear message about this one, right? If that's what they've called in, they could have been that way with you, right? So when you tried to tell them how you felt, when you tried to share your voice, to speak up for your needs, because this person has a perfectionism wound, because this person is self-critical, whatever you said to them, they could have seen you as having unreasonable expectations, you exaggerating the negatives, you being extremely judgmental, you wanting them to be perfect or whatever. And it's so funny how people project that outward, right? Because I think you were just trying to tell them how you felt, but they saw you as like exaggerating the negatives and whatever. And now I think they've got someone in their energy who's actually doing that. And if they did that to you, that was a wound within them. The purpose of this connection is to learn lessons, provide personal growth and self-improvement required for their soul's journey. There's always a reason for the karmic. However they treated you, that karmic is going to treat them that way, is what I'm hearing. Abandonment wounds. Triggering childhood wounds, feeling left out, codependency, fears of being left, your person. So it's meant to teach them a lesson when it comes to that. All right, your person's energy. That's interesting. Separation. Doubt. This is what I'm talking about. You know what's sad? The people who are doubting it probably wouldn't have made it this far into the reading. And it would have been really important for them to hear that message. We have spirituality, right? Mirroring. Because you, spiritual, feeling connected to a higher power, the universe, a force larger than themselves, even if they don't understand it yet. Probably seeing signs and synchronicities, probably seeing repeated patterns, right? Starting to discover the spiritual aspect. And again, I'm hearing that until you surrender our 3D connection, I cannot embrace the 5D connection. So embrace the 3D, right? You already are. We have separation. Physical, emotional, energetic. They feel it too. You had the same card almost in the same row. Middle of their spread, spirituality. So they're starting to see, but they're doubting it. I know what changes I want to make in my life, and I begin this process right now. Their affirmation. Heartbreak, sad about the situation with you, missing you. Experiencing heartbreak in their current situation. Experiencing heartbreak in their current situation and missing you. Okay. Because again, I feel like there's an important lesson being learned here. And then on the bottom, doubt. That's why you need to release the doubt if you have any, about anything. Feeling uncertain about their relationship with the divine feminine, you. Again, all those people who doubt it, I'm really sad that they might not be hearing this. Think about it like this. They're not here to hear me though. I'm going to say it anyway. It makes me think of children, right? Even if you're not in the same room with this person, if you tell this person they're a loser, energetically, right? They'll never change. They're just this. They're just that. They suck. I deserve better. They can, like, some of the comments that I've seen are just like, I can't believe you would say that on the internet about somebody. Anyway, energetically, that energy, they're feeling that, right? I don't know if it was bread or what, or water or ice or water crystals, but they did this experiment where they spoke nicely to whatever this experiment was. It might have been water or ice. I can't remember. But they would they did an experiment where they talked really nicely, sent nice energy to one of them or some of them, and then spoke like really negatively, very critical towards the other. And the difference in what happened in that experiment was mind-blowing, right? And just think about it like a kid, because I'm thinking about myself as a child. Even if you're not saying this to them energetically, right? If you have a kid and you tell that kid that they're stupid and that they're always going to be a failure and that they'll never amount to anything and that they've never applied themselves and that they're this, that, and blah, 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 that child grows up believing everything about that, right? And that's what I mean by energy. Anyway, your person's energy. What's this about? we've got surrender. You're surrendering. Where are those people? Where are those people? They need to watch this. This is what I'm talking about, energy. It's mirroring your energy. Letting go of negativity. Listening to higher wisdom from self. Shifting out of ego and into soul self. If you're going to put yourself online or out there, the sooner you can learn that anybody saying anything negative of you, it's coming from their ego, it's a projection. Protect yourself, right? Because that's what it is. Anyway, shifting out of ego and into self. Surrender. You're surrendering. The power of surrender. And we have confession. Taking accountability. Has been hiding something. Wants to tell the truth. Maybe it's about that third party. Let's get one more for that. One more for that. Suppression. Twin flame. So we have confession here. Surrendering their ego. So anybody in their ego can't take accountability, right? So they're surrendering that ego death. Wanting to reveal something. We have suppression for what they want to reveal. Not allowing themselves to think or feel things. Bottling up emotions. So this is someone who wants to tell you that they suppress. And they're no longer suppressing. And what happens when you stop suppressing is everything comes, like everything you push down is still in there and it needs to come out. And now that they're in surrender, it's all coming out, right? So there could be things that they've been suppressing that they feel ashamed about, maybe about their childhood, maybe about this third party, or maybe just about this, that they're starting to take accountability for, and there is, it says wants to tell you. We also have twin flame. So it feels like this person, spirituality, right? I feel like this person is realizing what this connection is. That's another thing they want to talk to you about. Awakened warrior at the heart, of the heart, surrendering to ego. Trying to reconnect with the heart and the divine. Twin flame. 3 more for them, just like I did for you. 3 more cards that we need to know for them. That's good. Guidance from higher self. And there's a reason. New beginnings, wanting a fresh start. Wanting a clean slate. What are you preparing for? A new chapter in love. After you've learned lessons. I see some mirroring here. So this is why we talk about mirroring energy, because you can see it in these cards. They're mirroring yours. They are a reflection of your energy, including doubt and possibly lack mentality. Because I said, what are you struggling with? Lack mentality, focusing on what they don't have, focusing on the things they haven't learned yet, right? The things they haven't healed. Fear-based thinking. That's why we tell you to release the fear-based thinking. Anyway, and we have guidance. Guidance from the higher self, spirit, someone with wisdom, counselor, spiritual advisor, healer, tarot reader. Maybe they came across tarot, just like we did, right? And we have comfort zone. So they're in the 2 of Wands. They're in the 2 of Wands. There's a need to step outside of their comfort zone, right? Just like you, shedding the past version of you that was comfortable, situations that were comfortable. They're on a crossroads here, being guided to surrender, right? That ego is starting to shed that layer, that snake skin I'm seeing. So the more that you step outside of your comfort zone and release lack mentality. It's healthy for you too, but anyway. New beginnings on the bottom. Nostalgia, thinking about their memories with the divine feminine, thinking about a new beginning. And your energy is just radiating, I'm ready for a new beginning. Right? Whatever that is. All right. I'll just get a couple from this deck for you. I wonder if I'm going to go over 3 hours. That would be insane. Breaking point. They've hit their breaking point. Something's got to give. Isn't that a movie? Something's got to give. Just like you hit your breaking point. All right. I'm just going to get a couple for your person. Whatever that was, it didn't want to come out. Be careful. We have soft launch. Be careful. Calm energy. That's good. Grounded. Trying to balance emotion. Choosing ease over pressure. That's your energy though, right? They're on their way there. And then we have the soft launch. Low key, private, not secret, feelings growing, private. Feelings growing quietly, wanting to test the waters. All right. We'll see what else comes out. So, maybe this soft launch comes in after they find that inner peace. Because right now, 441, right now, I feel like they're at the 2 of Wands. So they're not ready to come forward yet. Okay? What can you tell me about this person? Intuitive awakening. Unexpected shift. Plans like moving, travel, third party, lessons being learned, unexpected shift, redirection, heightened awareness, trusting gifts, getting downloads, guided by inner knowing, awakening, surrender. Their energy. Their energy. The apology. You had confession and apology. And accountability. They're taking accountability. Acknowledging wrongs, emotional sincerity, healing, wanting a healing conversation, forgiveness, opening doors. Have you forgiven? I think you've forgiven. We have drifting apart, coming out with apology. Different paths, changing priorities, growth, creating distance. Wanting to apologize for drifting apart, right? They are taking accountability. They're having an ego death here. And again, it's that ego that keeps you from taking accountability. It's not me. I'm going to put those together. All right. Inner peace era. That's you. Inner peace era. Inner peace era. You're protecting your energy. Surrender. They're surrendering because of your inner peace era. Letting go of control, trusting divine order. Surrender. They have it twice. Surrendering to inner peace, not choosing chaos anymore. Rebirth energy, shedding old layers. I said those snake skins. I said it. New identity forming. Just like you went through a period where you blossomed into yourself, right? Major transformation. That karmic lesson was needed. I don't care who it was. Thank you. Gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for the lesson that we couldn't teach them, is what I'm hearing. The soft launch. Protect your energy, right? You're in your calm era. Protect your energy until they're in their calm era, right? Protective energy. They're learning how to protect their energy. There's so much mirroring. Soft launch. This'll come. This'll come when they've completed, right? Closure gained, lesson integrated, peace restored, acceptance achieved. So I don't think they've had their full circle moment yet. You have. So when this person is in a higher alignment, that's when that energy is going to come in, right? Testing the waters. Getting to know each other again is what I'm hearing, because you're two different people, right? New identity formings. It's going to be like, it's again, like I was saying, do you know that my new self scares my family? They're like, who is this person? I'm going to be honest. When I first started awakening, I never used to move my face, which was, I didn't have any wrinkles, but I would just like, it's so weird to look at me in the past. Like I would just never, I was always like this. I was always like this. I would never smile. I never lifted my eyebrows. I never made faces. I am bold and confident. Anyway, affirmation. That when I awakened, I remember I was on the phone with my mom and my mom said, I'm worried about you. I think you're losing your mind. No, Mom. I'm just getting it back. Anyway, it's like getting to know each other again. Intuitive awakening. Their intuitive awakening. Oh no, why am I hearing that? Why am I hearing that song? I'm hearing Dial Drunk. Moving in silence, you can't see this. Maybe they got arrested. That song is about being arrested. I'll dial drunk, I'll dial drunk, I'll die for you. They're going through an awakening, but moving in silence. Quiet confidence, protecting energy, plans kept sacred. That's good. Imposter syndrome. They have sorry. I don't know why I'm yelling at you. They have imposter syndrome. You have imposter syndrome. The mirror. It's just when you can see it, when you can connect. Do you know that thing that I sometimes post? This is me trying to explain. That's what I feel like right now. But when you connect the dots, the mirroring, the imposter syndrome, they have it too. That they're not awakened enough, that they haven't healed enough. They're doubting how much they've learned. They're doubting that you'll take them back. Like it's you with your mission or whatever you're impostering about. All right, one more. Love rewrite. It wants to come out. Okay, one more. Mirroring, that was your last card. Why am I yelling at you? If you were here, you saw it, unless you fast forwarded to them. You're missing out if you're not watching about yourself. Why would you want to hear about somebody else before yourself? Doesn't make you arrogant. Anyway, financial flow. So they're focused on, remember I said King and Queen of Pentacles, focused on their pentacles, focused on their stability. Balanced, give and receive. That's important. It's coming in underneath, drifting apart. So because there was an imbalance of, energy, whatever, drifting apart, now there's accountability happening, right? Wanting to tell you something. specifically about twin flames, their wounds, I was hearing. Right? Balanced, give and receive for what they want to apologize for and why you drifted apart. If it's not balanced, the energy doesn't flow. And we have never mind, I thought it was no contact. Love rewrite, new chapter in love, emotional maturity, releasing old patterns, getting ready for better beginnings. They're in that Two of Wands right now, right? Stuck in between the old them, comfortable, nobody triggers me, I can do whatever I want, I can live in my ego, and the new, taking accountability, balanced energy, apologies, anyway, you get it. Again, whoever this divine moon empress is, they're a divine feminine who understands the journey. Which is why I went and bought a lot of her decks, because I think it's a her. I don't want to misgender. Because they get it, right? These cards, they get it. All right. I want to grab... this one for your person. All right. Let's look at your person's energy. I hope not. No, Spirit doesn't want me to get this one. Hang on. Spirit wants me to get the same one as you. And I trust my inner self. I trust Spirit. The Magician. That's good. Focused on improving different areas of their life, I'm hearing. The Snake. Right? To me, like intuitive reader, to me, they're old. Look at this hand. Surrender, right? When you think about the Magician is supposed to be open to manifestations. Like usually you see the Magicians, I think, hands open or like playing with magic, or they're open. This card, the left hand is down, open, feminine side, and the right side is up, still holding on to that snake, right? Intuitive reader. Intuitive reader. Two of Wands I was hearing. Anyway, Gemini and Virgo. Oh, I had to recut the deck because I have muscle memory. The Lovers, look at that. And that's what happens. You come together as two wounded, you trigger each other's shadows. That's where the light is, right? Very powerful journey. All right, your person. Am I going to break 3 hours for one reading? When I watch Bree's readings, I watch them in like, I'm sure some of you have to do with mine. I watch them in like chunks. I love it. And it really triggered me when Bree reached out to me because I had imposter syndrome. King of Cups! Two of Cups. The Sun, the mirroring. It just makes sense. Balancing head and heart. Maturing. Tapping into that heart space. The heart, the highest form of love there is. Learning how to give more effort in relationships or love. Healing emotional manipulation. They could be seeing a counselor, right? Tapping into their heart space. My life of joy begins now. Capital letters. Now. That's their affirmation. Beautiful. Their energy. Maybe that's what they're transitioning into. Because I was feeling Two of Wands energy. Interesting. We have the High Priestess. Tapping into their intuition, into their inner self, divine guidance, starting to see through the veil. And divine feminines, we see through that veil, right? That's why we can see through wounding and we can see people's energy. We can read their energy. Even when something doesn't happen how I wanted, I know I'm on the right path. Your person's affirmation at 4, 5, 6, which means they're starting to get on the right path here, tapping into their higher self. And they have Queen of Pentacles energy, which you had. Embracing their independence. Silent, guarded, full of love, passion, and intimacy, but remains behind a calm, cool exterior, right? Imposter syndrome. Page of Wands. What was your advice from Spirit? What are you feeling inspired to take action towards? Trust your intuitive downloads. Trust your intuitive urges. Look at what is in their energy. Feeling inspired to take action, but fear and uncertainty is preventing them from acting on that action. Oh, Wally, I'll feed you in a minute, buddy. My poor little Wally. When I brought him up here, he was not doing well. He had a virus. And I've been feeding him small little meals, like very consistently. And trying to when I was a child and I had sick pets, I believed I could nurse them back to health. I believed it. I would write down wishes on a piece of paper, put it in my wish keeper. I had several animals just, according to the vet, recover miraculously. It didn't make sense. And I would tell my mom, I made these wishes. I prayed every night, even though I wasn't religious. And she was like, that's silly. Anyway, he seems to be doing well. Anyway. 3 of Swords in reverse, the mirroring. Accountability, healing, releasing resentment, right? No longer blaming you, perhaps. We have the Empress. Remember that Magician card, left hand open. They are working on their divine feminine energy. Self-love, self-worth, compassion. Healthier boundaries. Trusting their intuition. They're focused on their feminine energy. Focus on your masculine energy, right? Because again, it's like I'm seeing fluctuating scales here, right? As you come, I'm seeing energy. As you both find that balance, right? This is you, this is them. You're trying to find the balance of feminine and masculine. They're trying to find the feminine, or they're being guided to find the balance of feminine and masculine. And it kind of goes like this, right? The energy. And I feel like it's like that right now. Feminine energy, that Magician card, feminine energy, left hand open. Learning how to receive. So someone who has a lack of equal give and take, right? To receive can feel very uncomfortable. Think about that imposter syndrome thing we read about. Are you writing a book? All right. Confirm High Priestess, please. What is their intuition telling them? Ace of Wands to take action. They're waking up. I learned on the Light Seers Tarot, so forever I will see this as a third eye activation, a spiritual activation in the third eye. And it's confirmed by High Priestess. Intuitive activation. Ace of Wands. Remember, the affirmations that are popping down for them are like, it begins now. I'm going to start healing now. Joy starts now. That's what this is. Intuitive awakening. Confirmed. Temperance. Balance. Healing. Re-examining priorities, right? Page of Wands. What are they feeling inspired to take action towards? Ace of Cups. Self-love, self-worth, healing. You. King of Swords. Interesting. They could be feeling inspired to ask someone for advice about this connection, a teacher, a leader. Remember, I heard advisor, counselor with the King of Cups. Also, feeling inspired. I like the combination of the King of Swords and the Ace of Cups, because there's definitely this energy where they're feeling inspired to communicate with you, right? Reveal something to you. It's there. It's in their energy. I'm also hearing feeling inspired to balance the head and the heart first so that they can come in the right way, open to receive. Eight of Wands on the bottom, Ace of Cups. They want to talk. Anyway. Confirm the Empress. Confirm the Empress. Confirm the Empress, please. Justice on the bottom. Whoops. So they could be realizing that they blamed you unfairly, that they weren't seeing things clearly, that there was an imbalance of energy. Clearly you're on their mind, right? Wanting to take truth and accountability. You had communication. Whoa, Eight of Cups. This person, realizations, taking accountability about their avoidance of love, their avoidance of accountability, their avoidance of balance, right? This Empress, yes, they're tapping into their feminine energy, but you're also on their mind. That's what kept coming through on these cards, thinking about the feminine, thinking about their divine feminine, how they walked away, the divine feminine walked away, right? Taking accountability for their own avoidance. Justice, seeing this clearly. They weren't treating you fairly, maybe even blaming you unfairly. Seeing you walking away is what, like, you're... Oh, now I'm hearing a song. Bonus points if you know what song it is. I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something I said. You should have or shouldn't have walked away. Anyway. All right, how are they feeling about you? That came out so quick. Six of Wands, you are shining. You made them feel so seen and so loved, which is exactly what triggers wounds of neglect, of abandonment, of imposter syndrome, right? You saw them. You saw them. I'm seeing that in Lord of the Rings. I see you. Maybe they have something of yours that when they pick it up, they like, I see you. No, not like that. I'm just kidding around. Calm down. Four of Cups in reverse. Clarity about you. You're choosing happiness. You're shining. This person, for how they feel about you, attracting a lot of attention. Of course you are. Your soul is glowing. Knowing they need to put in more effort. There's clarity about you here. Missed opportunity, remember? Eight of Swords. I think they are feeling stuck on how to come towards you. Eight of Swords. I think they're in their head about you. Remember, I keep seeing them. They're not quite... They're in between. They're in an in-between stage. Transition, I'm hearing. Eight of Swords. Trapped in their mind about you. Mental pain. Those people are having a pool party again. Look at that. But they're also having clarity about how maybe they were coming across like a bit of a victim, or for how they feel about you. New perspectives, I'm hearing. How are they feeling about you? They're really, Temperance, they're really re-examining their priorities right now. Yeah, hang on. Five of Pentacles, there's a fear that you're going to refuse their offer. That you're going to reject them. So they're holding back. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, great, there's all this energy about them wanting to talk to you, but not yet. Death for how they feel about you. They don't even recognize you. That's what I was saying. Hanged Man energy, new perspectives. I just said it. I just spoke that. New perspectives. I said it when I was looking at that Eight of Swords. So, new perspectives. Waiting. It's waiting. They feel like you've withdrawn. Fear and uncertainty, right, with the Moon. You've changed, right? You've changed. You've cut your losses. Five of Wands underneath this. They want resolution, but they know you've changed. Again, energy is magic. Energy is magic. You've changed, and now, energetically, they know. I'm not crazy. Get out of here. I just heard someone say, like, anyway, doesn't matter. I heard you. Get out of here. There is fear and uncertainty here about coming towards you because you've changed. They know you're different. One more for how they're feeling about you. Six of Wands. Yeah, missing your attention, right? You're shining the star. They see you as their star. You are my lucky star. I've loved you from afar. You're their guiding light. You're always there is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing you're the fire and the flood, and I always feel you in my blood. I do not work for Vance Joy. Oh, wouldn't it be great if, like, I would just be tickled pink if Vance Joy ever came into my comment section and said, like, people say you mention me all the time. We have the star. You're shining, healing presence. You're their guiding light. Magic. And look, third eye open on that. Third eye open. I see you. Shadow work. You helped them to look at their shadows. Gave them the strength to look at their shadows is what I'm hearing. Maybe this person is, like, if you are online, maybe they're watching you, whatever you're creating. All right, what is blocking them? The Magician. Didn't I say it when it was on the bottom? Intuitive reader, right? For what's blocking them, Knight of Swords. So they're still a little bit reactive. We don't want that. But I said it when it was on the bottom. One hand is down, the other hand is not. The other hand is that masculine side. This is what's blocking them. They need to transform the masculine energy, is what I'm hearing. Right? Could be struggling with willpower right now. Procrastination, imposter syndrome. And there may be a chance that if they, this can talk about, like, you could have felt like they were manipulative. Knight of Swords can be someone very reactive, hurtful with their words. So if they are still healing that, and you have closed, you have full circle moment completion, that means energetically, like, they need to overcome that before they come in, right? They're being blocked for a reason. Intentions towards you. Knight of Pentacles to come in slowly. You had Knight of Pentacles, remember? They want to reveal something to you. Let me confirm this. We have the Dark Veil. Just 1 minute. Their intentions. I feel like this person's intentions. Again, think about Mary Poppins, right? It's like everything that you're working on manifesting, I think, is happening. But anyway, their intentions to hold back, right? To retreat, to withdraw, so that their next action comes from a place of power, the crocodile. Until they look at this, the Dark Veil. Right? Dark Veil. They're intentionally not coming forward right now. It's that feminine energy, right? They're intentionally not coming forward right now because there's still things that they're healing. Knight of Cups. I don't think they're mature enough yet, right? Intentions. Temperance. Yeah, they want to take their time. They want to re-examine their priorities, find balance. You know, the Knight of Cups talks about having a vulnerable conversation, even though it can be hard. Remember what I asked about the confession, and it talked about suppression of feelings. That's that. So their intentions are, okay, party. I like our party. Our party has piggies and birdies. But that Knight of Cups talks about being vulnerable. It does talk about rekindling something, but right now they're not ready. What do they want you to know? I'm not even going to ask about action, because whoever I'm channeling, Eight of Wands, I want to talk to you. Whoever I'm channeling, you don't need to know their next action. You know it. They want to talk to you. They're making changes, quiet progress. I choose to move forward. That's what they want you to know. May 14th could be symbolic for what they want you to know. Queen of Cups. Protect your energy. Even, I say this about the King of Cups. Highest form of love there is, I'll say about the Queen of Cups too. They love you. They want to deepen this connection. Queen of Cups and love, deepening of an already existing connection. They want you to know they're letting their higher self, their intuition, guide them, which is what this one does. And they know they need to come in compassionate. Queen of Cups, compassion. Where they were lacking compassion, feminine energy in the past. Justice. This is what they want you to know. They know. I wonder if they know that we know that they know. We know they know. I'm just kidding. Justice for what they want you to know. They've learned a karmic lesson, I'm telling you. And when they're ready, they'll take accountability. And come in compassionate, not blaming. All right. I know that was long, but it was lovely. And if you're on this freaking journey, it's a long one. Why shouldn't the readings be long? I wonder, 3 hours? Maybe I've done it. That's interesting. Took me a while to hit an hour 40, right? And then all of my readings started getting longer and longer, then hit two hours. And then in the last couple of weeks, I've had a few that are almost 3 hours. We're just gonna get a couple of these. I love these channeled messages. And I only pull them out when I feel called. These really, to me, these messages aren't really for people who don't believe in the twin flame journey. I've been learning about twin flames. It feels right to me. Just like you did once, right? I'm not going to give in to fear. I know fear is only an illusion. April 17th could be symbolic. September 3rd, March 9th. 93. I wanted, yeah, 8 of Wands. I wanted to send you a message today, but I was afraid to. I don't know if you want to hear from me or if I can say the right things to you right now. That's kind of what they were saying in their, when I asked them. Just know they're thinking about you. My ego is fragile to criticism. I called it. Well, the card came out, but I've created walls to protect myself. So your vulnerability or you speaking your feelings clearly triggered this person's ego and criticism wound and whatever else was going on. And now karmic lesson. They've actually called in someone just like that, right? Someone, I'm seeing the mouse, very nitpicky, very unforgiving, I'm hearing. We project our patterns onto each other, and this makes it difficult to see what is real and what is fear-based thinking. This is so true. This is why I only pull out this card or this deck for the people who will sit through a reading this long. Right? I see you working to, they see you working on your mission, or they can feel it. I see you working to create change, and I'm proud of what you are accomplishing. I want to work on a mission with you. So whatever you're creating, they could be feeling inspired to create with you or to do something to help others. I want to hold you in my arms and feel our bodies unite as one. First things first. I am going through ascension. I need space to rest, but from a higher perspective, I'm releasing old energy. They're going through an ascension. I feel like I don't deserve your love. I'm worried you'll leave me when you see who I really am. That's one of their patterns. Fear of abandonment, fear of rejection. Numbers. June 10th, May 2nd, January 7th, February 15th, 16th, February 17th, 12th, 10th, July 2nd, 22nd, October 22nd, October 16th, 15th, May 6th, July 2nd, May 7th. Those are the ones I'm feeling called to. There's only one card in this deck that drives me crazy. I think I might have taken it out because it can be very confusing. It says, please send me a message. I may not respond. It's like, I'm not going to tell people to send, like, I'm sorry. For people in a vulnerable space when they shouldn't be sending a message, right? It's the only card in this deck. I think I took it out because it confused some people. I'm seeing synchronicities like your name or 1111 and working out what they mean. Because of you, I'm starting to see what is really important in life. 4 of Cups, that's the truth. 4 of Cups in reverse. Your mission, because of your energy, your light. September 11th, November 9th. I watch you on social media and the internet. It's my way of staying close and finding out more about you. We have 9, 10, 11. October 9th, October 11th. Union, the same divine energy flows in each of us. This energy is the catalyst to our reunion. We just need to allow this energy to work its magic. It's energy, right? It's energy. It's an energetic dance between souls. It's an energetic... Anyway, doesn't make logical sense. Karmic ties. I'm accessing, there we go, past life wisdom. It's helping me understand things with a new perspective. Divine guidance, higher knowledge. March 11th, 11/11, November 11th, March 9th, March 10th. This is the last time I'm going to go through this deck, okay? I'll go through the whole thing. Or until Spirit tells me to stop. Hello. Oh, my poor cat is just, it's so hot here. And my poor dogs are like wanting to go for a walk and I can't take them for a walk. The pavement is like burning. Love like ours can change the world. Divine feminines. I think you're beautiful inside and out. I see the light that radiates from your soul. This situation is being caused by the both of us. Look at your own role in this situation to help us change it, right? Right? Accountability. I'm tired of being away from you physically. I'm trying to process my fears so that I can come back to you. Release your fears, my friend. These cards keep sticking to my elbows. As you surrender your 3D expectations, I said that, May 22nd. I surrender to our 5D connection. That's exactly what's happening here. It's magic. I'm conflicted about, did I already read that? I already read that, didn't I? I'm conflicted about whether I have what it takes to be your partner. Don't be tempted to disconnect from source. Our connection to source is the love and healing we require for union. Another 11. And that's what I mean. At some point, you just have to trust in your journey and stop being tempted to disconnect from source. These feelings overwhelm me and I become afraid. Sometimes I even run away. Running pattern here. I'm not going to give in to fear. I know fear is only an illusion. Truth. I want to know everything about you, but I hold myself back from asking. Clearly this person wants to know what's going on with you, but they know. I'm seeing that card, one look at you and I turn to mush. All right. So I'm going to go now, my beautiful friends. Thank you for staying for such a long reading. I know that was a really long one. Someday I imagine us all meeting somewhere together and hanging out. That's what I would really like. Anyway, I love you guys and I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you for being my friend. Isn't that the Golden Girls? I don't know. Bye.